The car is steering itself. I'm in pilot mode. It's driving itself. The future is here. Hello and welcome back to PendleTV. I'm Ross, and today you join me where we continue our look at some in-depth car reviews, and today we're taking a look at the all-new Volvo XC90. Now before we jump into that, I want to say a special thank you again to our friend Lamin. If you remember from the previous video, arranged the Volvo XC40 for us, so big thank you to Lamin and our friends at Endeavour Automotive for giving me this car for the last couple of days. Now just a quick note on that. When I review these cars and I'm giving them, I am told to give my complete honest review, so I don't want you guys to think that I'm being biased because I've been given the car. I will talk about the things that I like and don't like. Now on this car, it's one of the ones again where there's very few that I don't like, but we'll go through the features in and out and of course get it out on the road. Now there is going to be two parts to this video. First of all, we're going to be looking at the review of the XC90, but later on in a later video we're going to be looking at still using the same car but looking at the luxury SUV leasing market and why the SUV market is currently the most popular for leasing customers. Now also, whilst moving into 2020, we're going to be looking at getting a lot more cars for you guys and a lot more content out on the channel. We're continuing our partnership with some of the biggest names on YouTube when it comes to cars, car reviews and some exciting content. So please make sure you subscribe and click the bell notification because there is going to be a lot coming in the new year and we are very excited to bring it out to you guys. But without further ado, let's jump onto the review of the XC90. The first thing you will notice about the Volvo XC90 is its sheer size. This car is absolutely huge. It is comparable in size to the likes of the Audi Q7 and the Range Rover Vogue, and 7 seats with 2 extra seats in the back, 3 in the middle with the centre part that can fold down, and plenty of room up front as well. This car will comfortably sit 5 adults, no problems at all. Now my favourite feature of the XC90, as with any Volvos, is their incredibly impressive front grille. The road presence that this car has is phenomenal. From the LED daytime running lights to the really powerful and curved bonnet, it really is a stunning car. Now the second thing you might notice, which this is my fault, is the car is a little bit dirty at the time of me recording it. Now I did think about getting it cleaned before filming it for you guys, but I thought, you know what? The dirt actually does this car some justice. At the end of the day, it's a 4-wheel drive SUV car, and at the time of filming we've had heavy rains and floods, and this car's felt safe, secure. I've had no problems at all. I've not struggled getting around, and I thought the dirt actually just shows how diverse this car is. Not only is it a luxury SUV, but when it comes to the Volvo all-wheel drive system and actually doing what it was built for, it goes above and beyond. Now, like I mentioned in the XC40 video, for those of you that have seen it, this car does have a couple of different driving modes which we'll go over once we get it on the road, but one of those is the off-road mode for when you are driving under 30 miles an hour and perhaps on some uneven terrain or going off-road, especially if you're taking to the kids' football matches. Then you can put it in off-road mode, and again the Volvo all-wheel drive system will come into play there and essentially get you through anything. Round to the rear of the XC90 now, I want to start by taking a look at the exterior features of this car. Now this is the Inscription model, so it is sitting at the top of the range. There are a ton of features and spec that this car comes with as standard. And the reason why we're starting at the rear is because one of my favourites is the easy access boot system that Volvo has. Now, what this allows you to do, if you've got your hands full with shopping or children for example, simply swipe your foot across the bottom bumper and it has a sensor that detects it and will open the boot for you. Now once the boot's open, there are also buttons to allow you for easy close, as this is a very tall car as well, so trying to jump up and close that boot wouldn't be the easiest of challenges. I've got the engine started as I really wanted to show you the daytime running lights that we spoke about earlier. They're very distinctive, very powerful, and really adds to the road presence that I spoke about earlier on. So we often say that the first thing we notice on a person are their shoes, and I'm one of them people, the first thing I notice on a car are its wheels. Now the bi-colour alloy wheels on this Volvo XC90 are absolutely stunning. They're a solid size and they really set the car off. So getting this car out on the road now, I'm not going to talk too much about all the touchscreen and some of the things like that because I covered it in a lot of detail in the Volvo XC40 video. So if you haven't seen that, please go on our channel and check that out, because essentially they're the same device fitted inside the car. So, you know, head over there, check it out, and there'll be a lot more detail about all of the safety features that this car has, because of a lot of them do cross over with the XC40. So there are a couple of other features I wanted to talk to you about once we've got the car out on the road that I really am a big fan of. Now a couple of them are standard, like you've come to expect with cars in 2019, which are things like speed limiters, cruise control. Saying that, this car does have adaptive cruise control, so you can use the buttons on the steering wheel and the digital display to set the speed of the road and set the distance from the car in front you'd like to keep, and the car will brake and speed up accordingly. But one of the features, as you would have seen by the intro on this video, which absolutely blew me away, was Pilot Mode. Now, don't be fooled, we're not quite a complete self-drive technology at the moment. You can't turn around and start playing top trumps in the back with a family. You do still have to be in control of the vehicle. But what Pilot Mode allows you to do is, again, set the speed of the road, the distance to the car in front, and the technology on this car will actually read the road lines, and steer for you. Yes, this car steers for you. You can watch the steering wheel move without you touching it. Now, like I say, we're not a complete self-drive technology, so every now and then it does pop up apply steering, and that will require you to physically put your hands on the steering wheel and move the wheel. That's so that the car knows you haven't fallen asleep and you're not just completely relying on the self-drive, because obviously that's dangerous. It's not at the point when it can start reading red lights and you can't program your sat-nav and the car will just drive there and things like that. But I found it extremely useful, and it took a lot of trust for me to put into technology like that. You know, I've never used it before. I know there are certain cars out there which have had things like this for a while, and there are certain things out there which are closer to self-drive than Pilot Mode are. However, actually letting go of the steering wheel and letting a car steer and read the roads and slow down and brake for you, when you're used to conventional driving, it took a lot. But I'm still here and the car's still in one piece, which I think is testament to the technology that this car has in it. So this is the B5 diesel model. So it's a 2-litre diesel, and when I first was told it's a 2-litre diesel, and considering earlier I mentioned that this is Range Rover Vogue size, Audi Q7 size, I was thinking, is a 2-litre enough? The answer is yes. It is easily enough. It has just over 230 brake horsepower on an 8-speed gearbox. Now, I've took this car on short town journeys into cities and done long motorway journeys as well, and I can tell you from experience of doing about a couple of 100 miles so far that there is nothing this car can't do. Like I said at the start of the video, I've had flooding in my local area and it's ploughed through that. We've had no problems. It's been an effortless drive. In fact, it's been a pleasure to drive. It's been a really smooth experience, and it just sort of shows you don't really need big engines anymore. We're moving to that time, especially as we're more, you know, conscious of our carbon footprint, where we don't need big 4.4 litre engines and things like that. Now, like I spoke about in the XC40 video, which again, if you haven't watched, I please urge you to go and watch, is we spoke about Volvo's commitment by 2020 to have every one of their models available in a hybrid engine option. And the XC90 is already out. We're looking at the T8 engine, which has a phenomenal 390 brake horsepower. So I'm keen to get my hands on a T8 Volvo or a hybrid Volvo, which stay tuned and make sure you keep a lookout for in the new year, as there's no doubt going to be one coming. Because like I said, again, when I've driven things like the BMW 530e, I can definitely see how we're moving closer and closer to hybrid engines and EV vehicles in general. Now, one of the other things that I want to talk about with electric is how much benefit they can have for company car tax and for business customers. So if you are looking to lease a car for your business, make sure you speak to a member of the Pendle team about looking at hybrid options available. We will always have great deals across all makes and models. But if you want to find out more, especially about the Volvo XC90 T8, please make sure you visit our website and give us a call, because we're more than happy to talk you through the options available and the benefits on company car tax. So again, I've gone through a lot of the safety features that this car has, again with the XC40 video, so I won't dwell on them too much. Just really wanted to talk about this car today. But also, like I mentioned at the start, we're going to be having a part 2 to this. Currently, the SUV market is the biggest market for leasing customers. Now, after driving this, it's not really surprising why, but part 2 of this video, we're going to go in a little bit more in detail about whether an SUV is for you, what options are there available, what SUVs are there, and the price ranges, so you can sort of decide whether an SUV can fit your lifestyle. Because granted, it's not going to be for everyone, but with it being the biggest current leasing market and the demand for SUVs increasing even more, why is that? So that's what we're going to be looking at part 2. So something I'll touch on, and a question we often have when it comes to SUVs, is are they too big? And like I said, this car is a very large car. Does it feel too big when you're driving? Not at all, really. No, it's the first SUV of this size that I've driven. Like I said, I've driven smaller ones, you know, compact SUVs and Range Rover sport size. This is a huge car, yes, and it's plenty of space inside, but I don't feel that impedes my driving. And like I say, I've driven on country lanes and in central city centres, and I've not found that this size has been a problem whatsoever. If you're not the best of parkers, it may be a problem. If your parallel parking isn't up to scratch, it may be a little bit of a problem. Apart from that, no, the size isn't an issue. My personal experience hasn't been an issue at all, to be honest. So a big thank you again to Lamin at Endeavour Automotive for arranging this car for me. He did arrange the XC40, and he has said he's happy to provide as many cars as he can to us for us to review. So we are, from all at Pendle, we are extremely grateful to our friends over there for helping us out. You know, we're starting out, like I say, 2020 is going to be a big year for us with a lot more content to come, but he's been there from the start and really provided a great platform for us to get started, so a huge thank you. However, like I said, he has asked us to be honest, and we want to be honest to you as our potential customers and our viewers, so that you can go away fully informed. So like I said, I'm not going to be biased towards the car. If there are things I don't like, I will talk about them, and so far there is one single thing I've discovered about the XC90 that I do not like, and I'm going to have to double check that I'm not wrong. So if I am wrong, please comment below and tell me that I'm wrong. I'm happy to hold my hands up. But traditionally on reversing cameras, they fold upwards when they're not in use and fold back down when you put the vehicle in reverse. Now, as far as I'm aware, the reversing camera on this is always out, and the problem I have found is that it gets dirty. You've got road muck and dirt, and sometimes I've found myself putting it in reverse and not actually being able to see, especially where we've had a lot of wet weather and a lot of dirt on the road. It flicks up and I've got a dirty camera, so I've had to clean it a few times to be able to see. Once you've cleaned it, crystal clear, perfect, no problems. A lot of guidance there, and it's a perfect camera. But that would be the only pet peeve I've got with the XC90. And like I say, if I'm wrong and the camera does fold up, comment down below and tell me I'm wrong, and I will do a public apology. So like you saw at the start of the video, and like I've touched on already, it's the pilot mode. So I've actually got us onto a dual carriageway now, where I am actually using the pilot mode. Again, like I say, it doesn't work with indicating things, it just reads the road lines. So once it's lined up, a little green steering wheel appears and it takes over. I'm on a 50-mile-an-hour road, so I've set the speed to 50. I've set my distance to the vehicle ahead, and the car, it just asked me to apply steering then, and the car does it all for you. Now again, there are some limitations on this. So if you're on a road with very little road markings, it's not as easy. And I've tried to capture it on film, but obviously I can't use my camera whilst driving. But yeah, the steering wheel moves. The steering wheel reads the road and it steers for you. It's absolutely phenomenal. So that's going to conclude our video for today. I am going to conclude it sat in the car this time. I know usually I finish with a nice outside shot of the car, but it's absolutely freezing outside as it's mid-December. So we're going to conclude it inside the car. So like I said, please make sure you join us for 2020. It's going to be a huge year for Pendle Lease. We're continuing our journey with some of the most established and well-known YouTubers. So we are very excited for that, and we hope you can enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, and turn on that bell notification. We've got some very exciting content coming in the new year, and I can't wait to share it with you.